So can you put your hands together for Karen Darke?
Thank you, and like Carl, it's a pleasure to be here, and first event in Sheffield, and I'm kind of half living in Sheffield now as well, so as much as I'm here, I'll try and come along to some of the events too. So I'm just going to really tell you a story tonight, and the story is one of my own personal experience, but I guess it's, I suppose if one thing is inevitable in life, it's that things change, and I think sometimes the changes that occur, we kind of, I don't know if there's such a thing, they happen to us, or we perceive that they happen to us, they're unexpected. And other times changes happen because we put ourselves up for things or do things and things change. So I'm going to share with you a couple of stories tonight about something that happened to me that was unexpected, which is kind of obvious that ended up being sat in a wheelchair, but also one particular thing that I'm going to share with you, an adventure that I took part in a couple of years ago, which changed me as well, which was something I chose to do. So I heard this word, it's a made-up word, but I heard it on Radio 4 recently, and I thought, I really like that word. And it doesn't say over-competition, which most people read it as, it says overconction. And I thought, what a really nice word, but how do we overcome things? So I'll just start telling my little story. So this is me when I was 20, climbing in the Swiss Alps, and it didn't feel anywhere near that scary at the time. When I saw the picture afterwards, I was like, wow, that looks really amazing. But it didn't feel like that. I started climbing when I was quite young, really, when I was at school, had teachers that were quite into it, obviously. Well, I don't know if you got into it, Phoebe, or not, but I was led onto the climbing path when I was at school anyway. But I probably could have spotted quite early on that I was probably heading for a bit of a disaster, because I just kind of, I suppose I just had this belief that I could do anything, which it just was, again, it was kind of almost spine-tingling to think how the things unfold in the world to make things happen if they're meant to happen. And it had been a huge, huge journey for me emotionally and mentally, and I've just learned so much about managing fear and managing emotions and overcoming, you know, fears and just getting to do things that you don't think you can. So I've invented this little saying, and it sounds like a Red Indian chant, but it's how, now, wow. And what I mean by that is, when we're faced with something difficult or new or a change, the first thing that always comes into my head is, how am I going to do it? And for all the positive thinking in the world, for all the kind of trying to always think great about things, the first thing I think of is all the reasons I'm not going to, all the reasons I'm going to fail, why it's going to be difficult, how am I ever going to do it? And I think what works for me is then to acknowledge those things, not just ignore them, but acknowledge them, write them down, put them to the side, but not sweep them under a carpet, because I think there's some good stuff in there, because our fears can help us do things that are positive to make things different, if that makes sense. So, you know, they can help us find strategies to get us through to the next stage. So the now bit is about going, now I have no idea how we're going to do this, but I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to try, like the banana lady did, just try something new, get creative, new ideas, and just see what can happen. And I think if you keep trying that, keep persevering, and give it a go, then we reach the wow point where you can look back and go, oh my God, I did it, or we did it, or, you know, can't quite believe that we managed it. So I'll just leave you with that thought and a few little pictures to some music.
In the spirit of the three stars, the alien thing that took its form, then to Lebanon, Incarnation, 3 stars, delivering signs and dusting from their eyes.
I think the expressions on people's faces and that, I just love it, from like fear to kind of peace to, you know, all of it just says it all really. Okay, well, thank you very much, and I hope that you enjoyed the story.